let's get into this discussion, because when I think about checks, I'm like, I have to figure out how to write how to sign the same way every single time. And it just frustrates me. And it's like, what does this have to do with anything? So for this discussion, for those out there who are just joining us, what is the electronic check clearing?
Electronic check clearing is an industry-wide system. It's been in train for quite some time, and really, very simply put, what it does is alter the way the banks share check information with each other. Historically, and as recently as 2 weeks ago, what would have happened? Pauline, you would have written a check. This check would have been presented at X bank. X bank would have then exchanged the physical check with whoever your bank is, whoever the check is drawn on. And that would have been the process, a physical exchange of checks. What is happening now? All of the the images are being captured electronically. The checks are being scanned. And during the course of the processing time, the banks are exchanging image files of the checks for further credit or debit to persons' accounts. That's it in a nutshell. It's really the replacement of a physical manual system with an automated electronic one.
So when it comes to just the behind the scenes of what happens, or what would have happened before that, is I would have funds in my account. I would go to an transaction, a commerce transaction. I would write my check. So what would happen, for us who don't know what's going on in the back end of things? What usually happens?
What would have happened in the back end is you would write a check to me for $1 million. And I'd say, thank you very much, Pauline.
Ooh, girl.
Then I would take that check and deposit it into my account at Republic Bank. Assuming you bank at another bank, what would then have to happen is the physical check that I have in my possession, that I have deposited at Republic Bank, now has to be, well, that's happening across the board, right? So all the checks that are processed in a given day, in one given day, would in the past have been collected, scrutinized, sorted, disaggregated to each bank, and then sent to each bank. So assuming your bank was Bank X, all of the checks that Republic Bank had to process on tonight for, let's say, use today as the example, that are specific to Bank X would have gone back to them the following day for them to then start doing the processing in terms of debiting your account or putting a hold or whatever as the case may be. So that's what would have happened.
And now it's shift over now, because that time frame, what would have happened would have taken how much time?
That the exchange happened overnight, and then what would have happened is your account would be impacted the following day. What's going to happen now is, because the banks are processing electronically, the time frame is faster, because there's no need for a physical exchange of checks. So persons' accounts are going to be impacted. I wouldn't, definitely not real time, but in a shorter time frame. The intent, of course, is for us to hopefully get to the stage of it being real time. But I mean, we're a way away from that, because what would have to happen is all of the checks in the system would have to be compliant.
So let's go into the global money week discussion, because this thing started with 21 countries, and
Yes.
last year it went up to over 109.
Yes.
So anybody who is watching this for the first time, can you share with us, what is this global money week?
Essentially, Global Money Week, it's an annual global awareness raising campaign on the importance of ensuring that young people are financially aware and can acquire the knowledge, the skills, the attitudes that are necessary to make sound financial decisions and ultimately achieve financial well-being and financial resilience. It's really just helping to raise financial literacy awareness amongst the youth and helping them to understand when that time comes for them, when they start to earn money, how to manage and how to grow that money, and to think of other avenues for gaining money, such as entrepreneurship as well. You see how the world is going. So to gain those skills in having an entrepreneurial mindset is important.
So, in the context of this discussion on moms and money, what would you say? Because I remember watching this meme of somebody like looking at this at his paycheck, and he was like, "I can't believe people make the same money and have kids." So this idea of relationship and money, it definitely changes. I mean, when you have another human being to take care of, but can you kind of pinpoint anything in particular that changed drastically for you as a mom?
Correct. And thank you so much again. I think everything changes when you become a parent. Everything changes. I mean, when you are free and no priorities, you live life, you enjoy life. You can pick up and go, you can buy anything that your heart desires, right? Money seems fleeting. It seems like, okay, no structure. And then when you have somebody dependent on you and you want to give them a better life than you have, and you want to create avenues that, you know what, they won't have to go through the struggle. Now you have to prioritize. Now you have to identify, okay, could I go out today or have to wait next week? Could I buy this today or should I hold on? And I think in the beginning, it wasn't easy. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yes, it was a breeze in the park. I became a mother. I had money. Oh, no. Thankfully, I started off in the bank the same year she was born, and I worked my way up. I purchased things along the way that I would say was investments. Sometimes you make bad investments, sometimes you make good investment, but you have to prioritize and know, okay, this is what I want for my daughter. This is how I'm going to go about achieving this. You may not always have the answers, but taking time to identify what can I do to improve my situation. It was made my situation better. It changed. It drastically changes because what you could have done for yourself, now you have to do for the other, right? And you have to study, okay, am I the priority now? Is this the priority now? So I think prioritizing what is needed compared what is wanted is most important. And once we can identify, you know what, I ticked off all the boxes with what I need. Now I can start doing what I want. It is going to come over time. I always say, I think it's a ladder. You take time. Anybody around you, or my family listen, on my husband and my daughter, they would say, I always want something now. I need to have it now. And I'm gradually learning that it don't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes work. It takes effort, but it can be done.
Let's get into this conversation around credit cards, because I've done some research on this and I've realized that we have pretty much a low penetration on credit cards in Trinidad and Tobago. So for those out there who may be thinking about it and not too sure, they're afraid, what is a credit card?
Sure. And thanks for that question. A credit card really is a revolving line of credit which is basically like a loan. So money given to you on a card that you can then use. So it's a revolving line of credit afforded to someone once they qualify for it. They can continuously use that money once they pay the outstanding balance. It's different from a loan, which is a reducing line of credit. So take, for example, you have $1,000 given to you as a form of credit, right? That's a line of credit. In terms of a loan, you have that 1,000 and you pay $200 every month. At the end of 5 months, you would have repaid that $1,000. With credit card, once you repay the outstanding balance, you can get back the use of the remaining funds, unlike a loan. So a credit card in that sense revolves, right? You always have the available balance always available to you, unlike a loan that reduces. And that's what makes credit cards so attractive to persons. You have access to the funds again once you have paid down the funds that you have paid that you would have used.
So when it comes to common mistakes that people currently make in terms of being susceptible to fraud, do you have any sort of top thing that you see reoccurring with individuals?
So, Pauline, one of the top things I mentioned earlier on was being susceptible to that social engineering by not verifying when you see you receive an email or something via WhatsApp or something via the traditional text message. You really need to stop and think. Is this too good to be true? Would my bank be asking me for information via email, my account information, my personal information, my confidential and sensitive information? And that is one of the general mistakes that people make. They believe this email that they receive, which makes us so vulnerable to phishing. With respect to carrying cash, people sometimes don't use or utilize the various electronic mechanisms that all banks have in place in terms of doing online transfers, the electronic channels of payment, having their employees open accounts and depositing money to their accounts so that they receive their salaries rather than paying them in cash. Right? So those are some of the things that we want people to avoid. But as I said, we are in a cash-intensive environment, and people do go to make large withdrawals, and unfortunately, they find themselves being the victims of crime as well.
Hi, my name is Derek Katwaru and I'm a banker. And this is Ask a Banker Anything with Bank. Tea or coffee? Coffee. I like coffee. What is my hidden talent? I love to dance. I'm not a good dancer, but I love to dance. Obligation. Needed to support my family. My mother was a single parent. Had no choice. I'd write my resignation. Satisfying a customer, seeing a genuine smile after you observe a customer and attended to their needs. The number one bank in Trinidad and Tobago obviously is RBC. Why? Because we are an international bank and we give fabulous service.
(2023), a year of triumphs and transformations. It's been a year of relentless dedication as the Bankers Association of Trinidad and Tobago continue to shape the financial landscape. Our commitment to financial literacy is unwavering, from enlightening live events to impactful community outreach. BATT made its mark. Members collaborated, networked, and drove industry discussions to new heights. As we move forward, we take the lessons of 2023 with us. Thanks to our members and partners for an incredible year. Here's to an even brighter 2024.